Now we're going to be joined by Matthew Wright and Janet Street-Porter to discuss today's top stories.
Welcome to both of you. Lovely to see you. Let's start with what's going to be announced, we're thinking, tomorrow. There is a question mark at the end of this because we don't know what it is. All sorts of speculation. The end of the 2-metre rule.
Oh, please.
If that was the case, Matthew, was that a good idea?
I went out, actually, yesterday for a proper look around. I've been mainly home-based for the last few months, as all of us have been. And it strikes me that the 2-metre rule has completely gone by the wall as it is. Everyone was having a lovely time in the park. I spoke to some younger people, late teens, early 20s. They're more worried about not having jobs, having a lifetime of debt than anything posed by coronavirus. And I'm getting the feeling even I'm starting to lighten up, and I'm seeing hope. But I'm also very aware that Germany has seen its infection rate more than double over the weekend.
Well, that was because of one particular breakout in an abattoir, I think, which made that jump up. I mean, there was a little bit of hysteria earlier on today, you know, sort of, oh my God, it's all gone. Yeah. That was a pocket.
Oh,
Janet?
Thank you for telling me that. I was part of that hysteria. I was like, what? What's going on? Oh, good. Thank you, Phillip.
I've noticed that the 2-metre thing ended for everybody under 30 quite a few weeks ago. And I have been out a lot, and I noticed that is the younger people, they just gave up on it. And it's people of my generation who are still, you know, inching round each other. And unlike Matthew, I have been out a lot. I've been on lots of walks, and I've tended to walk by myself. But on occasion, I've walked on quite narrow paths and seen people come in the opposite direction and not knowing whether to chuck myself in a nettle bed or stand on one leg or whatever. It's been quite difficult to do 2 metres all the time. I can't wait, Janet, for it to end. I
think it's hard, Janet, for people to understand how anybody over 60 or 70, you know, people tend to look at them a bit like, oh, well, don't be ridiculous, it's fine now. But actually, you know, for people in the 60-plus range, it is still very worrying. And I know the numbers have gone down, but it is deadly.
For some, I mean, we still always have to point out that the fact that if you are, there are certain sections of the community, there are obviously people with underlying health conditions, but the majority of people recover from this. The majority of people are okay in the end. It is quite important to remember that. Would you go to
get out?
Would you go to the pub, Janet?
Would I go to the pub? I'm a bit worried about relaxing the rule in the pub. I am completely desperate to go out to dinner. I'm sick of loading the dishwasher.
Me too.
Cooking. That discussion about what are we eating tomorrow? You know, like, oh.
It's difficult, though. They're talking about, so you have to wear your face covering in the pub. So you get your face covering on, you get your group. It goes away. It's hopeless. It's hopeless.
But they can't enforce that, can they? The face covering.
Well, that's what they're saying. The metre plus rule that Boris Johnson is supposedly going to announce is that you can be closer than 2 metres as long as you're wearing face coverings. But if you're in a pub, in a crowded pub, how do you drink with a face covering on?
Janet, there's another one here that the elderly, and I'm not saying this really recently, I just want to get your... No, I suddenly thought that I've thrown myself over the edge. You know what I mean, because I know you're going to have an opinion on that. That's why I came to you first. The elderly could wear ribbons to show they are distancing. So what do you think? So it's a little warning for if you're 80 or whatever, and to say, look, don't come too close to me.
You're extremely vulnerable and you've got underlying health conditions, it might be a good idea. Personally, at 73, I just want to be classed in the same bracket as the 40-year-olds. I don't want to be kicked out any more than I have been by Boris and his bunch of buffoons. No, I think it's a good idea for some people, definitely. But, you know, we can't lump everybody over 70 in the same bracket because there's a really dramatic difference in the danger between 70 and 80 and over 80. But, you know, I just come back to this effect that it's having on people's mental health. And in the end, you have to allow everyone over 70 to make their own decision about what quality of life they want in future and what risks they're prepared to put up with. That's the bottom line.
Matthew?
Spot on. I have to say, It's really interesting because, you know, when I didn't know Janet was of that age, and I can understand why she doesn't want to be picked on with a ribbon. I'm considerably younger than Janet, and I would happily wear a ribbon because I would quite like people to keep 2 metres away from me and my family. And one of the reasons I've stayed in a lot is because I live in the middle of town, and we just found it impossible to go out around our local neighbourhood without joggers and cyclists brushing past us all the time at the height of the fear. And I think if maybe a ribbon will make a difference, but I guess the people that ignored me then and ignored my family then will probably ignore the ribbon today.
Unless the ribbon was massive.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
I don't want to wear anything that picks me out already.
Yeah, no. I knew she'd have an opinion.
Lovely to see
thank
you
you
guys.
both very much indeed.
God bless you.
Thank you. So just make sure you absolutely do not send Janet a ribbon.